Hello, hello, it's Debbie from Chalk Pretty Things and Create Pretty Things. Happy Sunday to you. Let's craft using one of these canvas boards. I like the canvas boards better than the stretch canvas actually, because I can fit them inside some different frames without any problems. Plus, I feel like if you want to display them just on a board, some type of easel, you can. So I'm going to use this canvas board. Now, canvas boards are great. They're inexpensive and easy to use. If you were chalking on a canvas board directly, I would suggest taking a sanding block and just sanding off some of the surface a little bit. This will help it become a little bit, I'm going to use my other sanding block, a little bit flatter so that it doesn't have all the bumps and grooves. Now I am going to be painting this one first, so I think it will still, the paint will give it a little bit of a better surface to chalk on, but I'm still going to go ahead and sand it off just a little bit. So remember, whenever you're using canvas, it can increase your the chance of it bleeding, the paint bleeding underneath your transfer. But to prevent that, just go ahead and sand it down just a little bit and then wipe off the dust. Today we're going to use this You will forever be my always. And it looks like a postcard. So the keyword for today to get the supplies is postcard. Type postcard into the comments, check your messenger, and you'll have a link to a shopping cart that's pre-built. Now the pre-built shopping cart does include a wooden tag, which I thought was adorable and I thought I was going to use today. But alas, I do not have the wooden tag in my craft room. So I'm going to use this canvas, but I am going to paint the background with some different shades of pink. And I also have some, this is called Toasted Marshmallow, just if I need it a little lighter. I'm going to be using some black and red in here, and maybe a little bit of purple for that plaid. Now, I did want to use some pink paste for the hearts, and I do have that here, but it is out of stock on the website, so I didn't want to put it in. Let me go ahead and grab my pink and my purple just to be ready. I'm sorry that I did not have it ready. Pink and a purple. Pink, okay. So I've got a couple colors here. Okay, so I've got black for the words, red for some of the hearts, purple, which is going to be some of the shading down here, and pink. Now I am doing different shades of pink here. So this is acrylic paint. You can paint your background with chalk paste. You just need to water it down a little bit, and a lot of people do that, and it looks great. But for today's project, I thought I would go ahead and use some acrylic paint, which means I'm going to have to dry it a little bit before I can chalk. But I don't think that's going to be a problem at all. Let me make sure I'm going on. Yes, okay. Let me mute that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of do a gradient background with this. I'm just going to grab some different pinks on my brush and maybe some white. And I'm just going to go ahead and do the background. Oh, that's pretty. I don't know how I'm going to replicate that through, but that is pretty. Pinks and whites, not whites. It's more of an almond color. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And I think this will make it stand out a little bit. It is a postcard, so it should really be white. And if I were doing the chalk tag, I think I would leave it white. But since I'm going to make it into a hard canvas board, I'm going to go ahead and put a colored background. I like colored backgrounds. I think they're pretty. Once again, I'm just adding a little bit of color to the background. Kind of a gradient effect. I might want a little bit of this darker one in here. Just a dot or two. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that I have all the edges covered. And then I'm going to go back through, grab some of my pink, and just kind of gradient this up a little bit more. Just so that it's got like a variegated background. I'm going to try to get it to go all the way down to the edges. You know, as I touch it to steady it, I kind of move it a little bit and remove some of that paste. So I think that looks pretty good. Go ahead and set my paint aside. And I'm going to go ahead and get a wipe and just kind of dry my container, my working surface off. So just going to kind of dry it. After I did my heat gun yesterday on my torched sign, I kind of bubbled up all the contact paper that was covering my protective surface. So I do have a brand new layer of laminate or contact paper on my surface here. Did you guys see how cute this turned out? I think it turned out really cute. This was last night's project where I used torch paste, and I torched on the design. Now today as I looked at it, I thought, well, I think it needs something on the side, whether it's extra hearts, color painted on frame. I wasn't sure what I wanted. So I went ahead and used torch paste. I used some masking tape, and I went ahead and pasted the torch paste within that area, and then I removed it and then I torched it, and this is how it turned out. I hope you guys like that. I just got sitting on a stand back here. That looks good. Now I do have my heat tools over here, and I'm just going to go ahead and dry this little canvas board up just a little bit so I can go ahead and chalk on it. And this is a new little heat tool to me. I do have my other one here, but I thought I would try this to see. It's quieter, it's very quiet, but I want to see how well it actually heats this up. If it's any quicker, it is definitely quieter. And I can tell when it's dry because it has changed colors. It's more of a dull instead of the heat. So what are you guys doing on this lovely Sunday afternoon? We have beautiful weather here where I am in Tucson, Arizona. It is gorgeous. I have no complaints. It's not hot, which is a blessing for this time of year, but it's not cold either. It's just like perfect weather. You guys know how you go like to San Diego and you say, oh my gosh, I love San Diego weather. Well, Tucson weather in the wintertime cannot be beat. It's usually sunny. We've had a couple cloudy, rainy days here, but it's usually sunny. No wind. It's just very nice. So if you ever get the chance, come to Tucson in the wintertime. Summer's a little different. You guys, make sure you go on to my website. It's chalkcouture.com/chalkprettythings. Take a look at all the sale items. They're starting to dwindle a little bit, but this is the end of year sale. It's pretty big right now. Some have got really, really steep discounts. And so see if there's anything that you haven't gotten that you really wanted to do. Now would be a great time to get those designs. Don't wait. We also have something coming out pretty soon. I'm not sure of the date. I'm not sure of what it is, but we have some new products coming out soon. It might even be this week. Oops. Sorry guys, I just wanted to kind of clean up this edge. We're just going to kind of smooth that paint. I call it paint by paper towel. Get some of the extra paint off. Okay. Okay, I'm going to flip it upside down because I think the bottom is a little messier than the top. And now what we're going to do, this is dry except for this spot down here where the paint was thicker and I just moved it around. So we're going to dry that up. Does everybody have their Christmas decor down? It's sad. We took down our outside stuff on New Year's Day. It is sad to be without it, but that's why I'm decorating for Valentine's Day and for winter in general. This is called a fuzz cloth. It has two different sides. This one's velour and this one's more of a terry cloth side. And you can use this for like dusting, you can use it for different things. Cleanup. This set I tend to use for fuzzing. And these are transfers. They come on this transfer backer. Just remove it. Keep this because you need it to store it on it. These are reusable 8 to 12 times, and you want to store them properly, and that's what you need to store them properly. I am just going to put the sticky side of my transfer down and put it on this fuzz towel, or you could use your shirt, your jeans. You can use any kind of towel that you want. This lessens that adhesive on the back just a little bit so that you don't pull up the paint that I just put down and you don't stretch your transfer up. One thing I just thought about is, since it is a freshly painted surface, I should apply some transfer wax on here, some surface wax. And I'm just going to go ahead and apply it with a paper towel. This one's kind of chunky right now. I might just kind of rub it just a little bit. This also helps it, prevents it from sticking and pulling up your paint. So even though one of the processes is to sand your board, after you paint something, you should always wax it before you put that transfer down. Sometimes when you pull that transfer up, it will take the whatever it's stuck to up with it. And we don't really want that. So it's just a light layer. You can kind of buff it off. It's just a little bit of a barrier for it. And then put your wax away. Okay, so here's our transfer. I'm just going to go ahead and center it on my background. Center it on my background. I want to make sure it's straight and evenly spaced on each side. And you can measure this if you'd like to. Sometimes I don't, and I wished I would have. But I think I've got it down pretty good. It looks a little crooked at the top though. A little crooked. Yep, that looks better. Okay, I'm going to smooth it down. I don't want any air bubbles under here because that will cause bleeding. But here's what it looks like right now. And see how you can see through these areas? Those areas where you can see the background is where the paste is going to go through. The transfer, that silk screen, is going to be contained in the area of the silk screen because we've pressed it down around the silk screen. And it's going to leave that impression on there. So, let's see, I was going to do red. Maybe I will. Let's do our red for these words. Do black over here. Okay, so red. And this one, I think I might have put candy apple in the list, but this one is called Bite Me. It was one of our colors of the month a while ago. It's kind of sparkly. So it's not going to be available to you right now. It probably will never be available to you again. We offer specials every month. The beginning of every month, a new color comes out, and you can only buy it with a qualifying purchase. And you can buy 3 jars with that qualifying purchase. But when it's gone, or the 15th of the month hits, it's gone. It's just gone. Okay, so this was just my regular small squeegee. Now I did put something called a multi-tool in there. I don't know where mine is, but I'm going to go ahead and get my detail tool. My detail tool also has a really small little end. I'm going to do one of these hearts, red. Okay. And then what other colors would I want to do the hearts? Maybe I'll do this one red too. I was going to say pink, but you know what? Our pink is probably not going to show up on this background. Maybe a white heart. Okay. So this was my detail tool. It varies from the multi-tool that I put in your list because they both have small little squeegees on the end, but this one has a pointed end. It's useful for like helping your transfers come up sometimes. It comes in handy for a lot of different things. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cap up my red. Now, this paste does dry pretty quickly. And if it dries quickly in the silk screen, it may come up with a silk screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lift this up and release it. Oh. Okay, so what I did is I lifted it up and I released it. And as I looked at it, I see that my F right there doesn't quite have enough coverage. So I'm just going to lay it back down. I'm going to get my squeegee again. And I'm going to apply a little bit more paste to it. Might as well just do the whole thing while I'm at it. Okay. And then I'm going to pull it down again. And look, it looks a lot better. Okay. So here's what it looks like now. I'm going to go ahead and let it go back down. I'm going to kind of smooth it in areas that I have not chalked. I'm going to go ahead and lift up this other area that I did the heart. And that heart did have a little bit of bleeding. I can probably repair that when outside the lines when I'm finished. Okay, so I do want to make sure that I'm pushing this all the way down and it's really tight around all that area. Let's get our black and let's do some of the writing on this side and some of these lines. So I'm just going to go ahead and do these hugs and kisses. Make sure this is down, it's not. So I'm going to go around this heart. I'm not sure what color I'm going to do the heart. Maybe white. Hugs and kisses. Go do this line. And these lines. Make sure you've got good coverage. And I like to go over it just to kind of smooth out those lines. Take off the excess. Make sure I have coverage where I want it. As you remove some of this paste, it will allow it to dry a little faster. Okay. So I did get pretty close to some of those hearts. Once again, I'm going to kind of lift up where I've pasted, release that paste, and it looks good. It does have some skips in it, but you know what? That's the transfer. It's the distressing of the transfer. So that's good. Okay, so let's do a bright white heart. If I have a bright white. Here is a bright white, but it may be empty. Let's see. It's got just a little bit in there. Let's see if it's usable. It's really at the bottom. It's very, very empty and it's kind of dry, but it does have some that is creamy. And I just need a little tiny bit. I think I'm gonna do the small heart right. Well, hey, this might not even cover. This is pretty watery. It may bleed and it may not cover. I may have to do something a little different there. It looks like it caused the black to bleed a little bit. Let's do our purple. I may have to contend with that white. Just kind of blot that. Yeah, I may have to do something with that white. Okay, so I'm gonna get my purple. Let's see if I have a different pink. Oh. This is our purple. It's beautiful. It's also color of the month, and this is called Majesty. So this one will not be available. You'll notice that in the cart link that I made, that there'll be different colors. Okay, so this time what I did is I got one of my mini squeegees and I cut it in half. And that's going to be perfect to get into this purple heart. I hope. And it's really up close to that black. So I'll work it carefully. Getting all the edges. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do this one purple as well. We may go over that with pink. It's kind of blending the black a little bit. Let's see if I can get some more. That one just may be a very different type of heart. Oh, then I was going to do my purple design down here. Let's see how this looks. I'm not sure about this color, whether it's going to come out and show on this bright pink background. I could have done a faded pink, kind of a light pink. I don't know. I like the way it looks though. We'll see how this design looks on it with these colors. I want to make sure I get the bottoms. I always, if you don't check your tops, bottoms, sides, you're going to miss them and it's not going to go through. So I always pay attention to those areas. This is right on the edge. And I have too much. Kind of squeegee it over, cover the pink. And take off the excess, put it back in our jar. I think I'm done with that. So let's go ahead and peel it up and let's take a look at these hearts up here. I'm kind of concerned about them. Let's peel it up. Purple looks cool. This one doesn't look so cool. So I'm going to try and put some bright pink on top. Bright pink on that one. I'll just use this one. So you can just wipe your squeegees off in between. You don't have to get a new squeegee every time. I tend to, just for saving time sometimes. So this will be my third color I'm putting on this heart. Let's hope it looks okay. Oops. Okay, let's take it off. Yeah, it looks better. Okay, so this is what we have. Isn't that cute? Now you could write someone's name in there. I did put chalk markers in the cart link, and you can remove them. They're kind of something like one of our novelties that we did offer, and we're still offering. I did it mainly for the pink because the pink was not being offered as a packet, an individual packet. I wanted to add the pink. But then I kind of changed my whole mind about the background being white, and I changed it to pink. So I did a few things different on this than the cart link is going to lead you to believe. I think I might just go and get the pink marker and actually do that. And I've got to clean up some of the red stuff. What I'm doing now is just cleaning my transfer. The pink and the red and the black are highly pigmented. And so I like to go over them at least one time with water and a paper towel and get most of that out. Plus it saves my board eraser some work and from getting all gross. It's going to be gross anyway, but a little bit of work. So what I've got here is my board eraser, and I'm just going to rub this over the top and get most of that paste off the surface, but definitely out of the silk screen. You want out of that silk screen because that's the whole idea behind the design, is having a clean, unobstructed silk screen so that paste can go through. So now I'm going to flip it over, and I've got the underside of this. You must clean that as well. I'm going to go ahead and rinse out my sponge. I have a little bowl of water over here. Let me see if you guys can see this better. I'm going to go ahead and gently glide it over the top of this sticky side to clean this side of the transfer. Okay. If I see anything that I think needs extra care, I can clean that out. And it looks good. Now what I'm going to do is get a paper towel and dry the top. Flip it over and lightly dry the sticky side. The sticky side, you don't want to rub off all that sticky. It's inherent to the transfer as far as keeping it in place. And you want that to remain. Okay, I got most of it out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the white side of my backer right on top of my sticky side. Make sure it's all on there. And I go over it one more time to make sure it's dry. So I want to show you guys that even though this looks stained on the green parts, that doesn't matter. What matters is that all your white part is clean. So you can see that up here it's not quite as clean. Maybe I'll go over that again. But then when I'm done with it, I'll put it back in the plastic bag that it came from. Let me go ahead and dry this 1 second. I wanted to show you how to clean up some of those bleeds that I have. And maybe I'll go over with a chalk marker. Let me see. I'll be right back. I'm going to get my chalk markers. Actually, those were fabric markers, so I may need to revise that card. Those might be fabric markers and not chalk markers. But I do have these Posca pens. They're an acrylic marker. I'm just going to go ahead and go over this purple heart. With that. Color it in. It's not going to stand out very much, but... And then... as far as this red, I am going to get something that's kind of sharp, and I'm just going to kind of scrape at it, just get that off. So this was just a Dollar Tree pointed tool, and so I'm using that to kind of scrape it off a little bit. And since there was a layer of surface wax under there, it's going to work. Now, what I could do as well to fix that is get my red Posca marker and just kind of outline this to clean up that edge a little bit. So I'm just kind of covering up where it kind of bled a little bit, and I'll still give it some dimension and some depth. Okay, so here's what it looks like. Isn't it cute? And if you wanted to, for this, since this is an 8.5 standard size frame, canvas, this frame isn't quite an 8.5 by 11. But I want to show you what it would look like if you had the right size frame and you framed it with maybe a white frame or black frame or gold frame. Cute, huh? I like it a lot. So it is kind of wild colors. I think it would have looked good on a white tag, a postcard, a white tag. And then you wouldn't have used any of this pink background. The colors would have popped even more. But I love it. I love it, guys. I think I'll put it in a frame and put it up here. But for now, I can put it in this easel. Let's go ahead and do that. So this goes up. Let's put this up a little bit. Okay. And then we'll just adjust it. Put it down. It looks a little crooked. It looks good like that too. Okay guys, I hope you love this project. It was quick and easy. It's real easy to paint on canvas and to use the chalk, and clean up is pretty good too. I do notice that there's a little white space right here. Anyway, it adds to the distress look. I hope you guys like this. Remember to get the supplies for this. Just type in the word postcard, P-O-S-T-C-A-R-D, all one word. It'll give you a link to the pre-built shopping cart, which is a little different than the supplies I used. But you can modify that cart. You don't have to get anything in there. You don't have to get exactly what I have. Get what you want, change it, make it your own. There you go. And you can do something like this so easy. And it's kind of fun. It's a fun, creative process that kind of guarantees good results. So I hope you give it a try. Feel free to share this with anybody that you know would love to create and craft. And consider joining our Club Couture, which is our monthly DIY club. You always get an 8.5 by 11 inch transfer that's exclusive to the club members. You get a surface to chalk on, and you get either ink or paste depending on what the surface is. Now, if it's a fabric like socks, then you'll be getting ink. And the first time you get your order, it'll be include a squeegee. The shipping is included with the price, which is $25.99 a month. And it's just fun to have it all sent to you, ready to go, and to explore the product. I hope you love this, guys. Feel free to share and follow me, and I'll see you guys again soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.